For our Fauvism Eye, I'm going to try to stick with the same colors that I had. I can use some of my hair color for the eyebrow if it's not dried up yet. The same skin colors for under the eyebrow and under the eye. Might have to get a little different in here. Still wild beast marks, right? Because we're still in Fauvism, but you can't maybe get that kind of detail in something that's super small. So I tried to get Ryan Reynolds' eye right here, so he's looking at me. But also because I can refer back to this for some detail. Of course, if I look at Matisse's eyes, very simplified, but again, don't want to lose the detail because I don't want to lose whose eye this is. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of these colors that I've already used. I'm using my smaller brushes. It's sort of like small flat brush like this. And I'm going to use some of the same colors. So I'm going to go into this red right under here. Next, I think I used some green. Don't have too much paint on there, so I'm going to get some off. Okay. And some yellow. Oh, need some white in that yellow, right? But that's too much. So let me go back here again. Yellow. Don't want to mix things together too much, but still gotta see what it is. All right, I'm okay with that right now. I can bring back some of that darkness in a little bit with some other paint. Now also under here, don't forget, even if you got like, I don't know, some K-pop person that doesn't have any shadows around their eyes at all, it's okay. Like, still be mindful that they're there. You're probably also looking at a very doctored photograph of a celebrity, perhaps, and know that they do have, everyone has these sort of dimensions around their eye, even though sometimes it's not very easy to see. Get some white in there. Now, I don't want this white to compete with the lightness of the white of his eye. I didn't mean to do that. But maybe I'll like it. I'm mixing too much. It's hard not to sometimes. You got to stop yourself and be like, no, that's not what I'm trying to do. Okay, so I got sort of around the eye. I'm going to go into that eyebrow. I got some of my neutrals up here for that I use for the hair. But I don't want it to be like boring. So I think I'm going to get some blue in there, maybe some green that I used in a shirt. I need a smaller brush. It's getting tight, y'all. Barely letting that brush touch. I want that blue-green to show up more, so I'm going to use some white. I want it to be more neutral, so I get my brown neutral going on in here. Super small brush. Those red brushes are really good for this. I don't want it to be super white right there. Make sure you get right up on that tape. Still, I want it to be red as an eyebrow and not like a weird tattoo of an eyebrow. Let me get right in here. That shadow again under the brow, right? His eyebrow's still blue. I'm not loving that. So I need it to calm down. So I'm going to put some yellow. Get a little yellow. Get a little red. Make a little neutral orange right here. Or just look like yellow. Just make as much paint as you need. All right. I'm going to leave that alone for now because I feel like I'm overworking it. All right. So now I'm going to go on to the eye. I'm going to grab some white. If you want to mix that a little bit with like a tad bit of yellow just so it's not full on white. It'll give you kind of like a butter color. So I'm going to go into the white space of his eye. I used the side of my brush there. It got right where I didn't want it to get. Aren't you glad I'm making all these mistakes? Okay. There's some white. I have this color from a little bit ago. And this really dark neutral. Barely got any left. Scraping the bottom of the barrel here. And I'm going to try to do what I can. Now, when this dries, acrylic paint, you can use like a Sharpie pen or something afterwards, but sometimes it ends up to be too cartoony looking when you do that. So let's only use Sharpie pen in the beginning. Oh, come on, give me something here. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, I am going to make I see this area right here is like very colored, right? Like it's very dark right in there. So I'm going to go ahead and use that dark neutral. Of course. Right in there. Try to use the tip of my brush, not the side of my brush, because side of my brush, but sometimes the back side goes right where you don't want it to. Now I feel like it's a little too dark. See how there's like really no darkness right here, and I have that darkness there? I want that gone. So I'm going to use a little bit more of this buttery white. Okay, Ryan. I feel like I'm going to have to doctor up your eye later. Who's his wife? Lively? We don't want to make her mad. Okay, now I'm still looking at this right here. Just don't like how muddy that looks. Because Fauvism, it's a tough balance, right? Between like muddy-ish and bright. Because mud's not bright. Try to make a little bit more of that brown. Maybe I just need a little bit of this to show off that eyebrow more. Am I helping y'all anymore? Or are you like, Miss Murphy, come on, this is ridiculous. I'm going to leave that alone. All right, but if I look down here, I'm going to take your, whatever your dark is, your little yellow, whatever your dark is, and bring back some of those lines that got away from you. Some of those lines that got away from you. Remember, it's okay to have some pretty thick lines with Fauvism. But I'm not going with my Sharpie again. Just these nice painted lines. And I realized I also wanted something like that to divide his hair. I'm going to climb on up. And let's make this a little bit more easy to see. I know, I maybe shouldn't have done that, but I needed something a little bit more wild up there. I know it doesn't make sense, but I'm doing it. I can always hate it and undo it later. But nothing risked, nothing gained. We'll see.